Voter apathy. Some say it was voter apathy that let the BNP in the North West. How do we re-engage with the electorate, or you re-engage with the electorate, John Leech, and get people to trust you politicians generically?
Well, we can only gain the trust by the actions that we take. And unfortunately, some politicians, their actions don't necessarily give people that level of trust in them. But I do think in terms of engaging with people, what we need is actually a system where people feel that their vote is important. And I remember speaking to a Conservative voter in my constituency, and there aren't very many of those, I have to say, but I spoke to a Conservative voter in my constituency last time, at the last election, who said she wasn't going to bother voting at all because it was a waste of time, because she knew that the Tories were going to come third. Now, we should have a system that means that everyone's vote, whoever they want to vote for, is actually relevant in a constituency. And at the moment, we don't have that system, and we need proper proportional representation. So proportional representation will encourage more people to vote, you think? Absolutely. Proportional representation, Susan?
I don't know where the evidence is that PR encourages people to vote. So
well, if you are voting in a seat that's occupied by Mr Stringer, whose majority is 12,027, if you're a Tory voter, it's really not worth bothering, is it?
Graham Stringer is the most popular MP in his constituency, or candidate in his constituency.
Because it's a very safe Labour seat, so Tory and Lib Dem voters don't bother because their vote doesn't count. No, if it was a PR and it was counted collectively, it might.
I'll take note of what John says. Perhaps we need to do a bit more work in where he comes from, but... no, I mean, I think PR leads to weak government. I've seen PR systems in other countries, and you know, the person with the most votes should represent that seat. But can I talk about MPs' expenses as well?
Very quickly.
Because it's not just MPs who are being harangued about MPs' expenses, it's people who wish to stand for Parliament that are being harangued about MPs' expenses, and we mustn't underestimate the anger of the public over this, and I really think we need it sorted. Do you think that will make more people vote? Because if people are engaged with the political process, even if it's because they're cross, they might be more inclined to vote than less. And Carlos Chan's point about voter apathy might be addressed by the fact that I'm so engaged with politics at the moment because I'm so cross, I'm absolutely determined. Well, it's had a lot of airtime, and I think if it is addressed before the next election, then it will draw a line, hopefully, under what has been an appalling period in public confidence in the political process.
Quickly.
I think there's a danger, actually, that it will have the opposite effect in that I think some of the public think that all MPs, all politicians are exactly the same, and therefore they're not interested at all.
Graham, do you think it's going to engage people more or put people off this expensive stuff?
I think it's mixed. I think there are virtually no good things out of the MPs' expenses issue, but if there was one good thing, it is that people know who their MP is. Virtually every constituent knows whether their MP has done
and where
things.
Where their second home is and what they bought with their expenses.
And people will do one of three things. They'll either continue voting for the MP as they did before, they'll abstain because they're just generally disgusted, or they will positively go out and change their vote because they don't approve of what their MP is doing. Just on the issue of PR, I mean, I think the only time we have PR in Manchester, we get the lowest turnout in elections ever. All the evidence is against John. Liberals are always saying PR is the answer to everything because it puts them into government permanently. It's the most cynical, self-interested policy they can possibly have.
All right, you both had your say and I have to move on. There's lots yet to come, so stay with us, but we're back briefly after this break.